Well, yesterday's news of 7 Baltimore police officers indicted for robbery, extortion, overtime fraud traveled far and wide. But today, we're learning a little bit more disturbing details as they stand before a federal judge. ABC 2 News investigative reporter Brian Kubler is here to tell us more tonight.
Jamie, the morning started off with 2 officers standing before a judge to plead not guilty. The hearing ended with that ruling that they are to remain locked up because of, quote, an egregious breach of public trust and, quote, unusual ability to skirt supervision. Judge Stephanie Gallagher came to that ruling after federal prosecutors laid out the case against 2 of the officers, detectives Maurice and Evodio Hendrix. The community needs to be protected, the feds argued. The risk is real. Witnesses are terrified. It is just part of the picture the government painted of a group of officers who used their elite squad of the Gun Trace Task Force to rob, extort, and defraud their way to hundreds of thousands of dollars in personal property and overtime pay. Letting them out on bail would be a mistake, prosecutors argued, saying these detectives were shrewd in evading the system, even in how they were tipped off to the federal investigation, not only by other officers, but assistant state's attorneys in Marilyn Mosby's office as well. It is a charge the state's attorney has yet to respond to, but they are just further details the Baltimore Police Commissioner says should be frustrating to any Baltimore resident.
It should make people red-faced, and it made me red-faced. They're outrageous. You can't make this up. David Simon could never have written a script like this in his life.
In a one-on-one interview today, Davis says many of these officers may have been involved in criminal activity for years, part of a pervasive and corrosive culture in the department. ABC2 has found at least 4 of the indicted officers are named in other recent civil federal lawsuits that allege excessive force and false imprisonment, raising an open question as to how these cops dodged such public efforts for reform spearheaded by both the BPD and the Department of Justice. Yesterday, you said, where there's smoke, there's fire. Why, in some of these reforms that you've already made, did no one see the smoke?
Well, we saw it. We saw it, and in 2016, we initiated this long-term investigation. So that was almost a year ago. So when evidence presented itself, enough evidence presented itself for us to act upon and for us to partner with the FBI to root out this corruption, we did it. Davis says BPD also has an early warning system to identify corrupt cops, but that too started only last spring. While these headlines are bad and the details coming out of court are damning, Davis says it is progress. 23 police officers who were here last year are no longer here. These 7 police officers are gone. And the names that were presented to me when I first became police commissioner as notorious gangsters who wear a police uniform and wreak havoc in the community, they're all gone now too.
Now, 6 of the 7 officers who appeared before the federal judge today will remain locked up pending their trials. Detective Marcus Taylor is the 7th officer. He will have his detention hearing tomorrow at 2 o'clock.